The Constitution of 1876 also had another profound effect on Texas. The new laws favored railroads. Understanding that Texas needed to be connected to the rest of the nation, lawmakers offered 16 sections of land, more than 10,000 acres, for every mile of railroad constructed. Not enough incentive? Railroad companies could also get a government loan of up to $6,000 per mile to help pay for construction. There was nearly no risk involved, and within a few years, the state had to cancel the program simply because Texas was running out of land. In the process, the state gave away 32 million acres, or about 20% of all of Texas. This approach had the desired effect, and people flocked to the state in anticipation of a vastly different future. By 1880, 1.6 million people called Texas home, and this trend was just getting started. The population had doubled in just 10 years. There were 8 times more people in Texas than when it first became a state in 1846. The growth continued, and by the end of the century, the number of people had doubled yet again. Railroads connected this once remote region to the rest of the nation. People were discovering Texas, and it became more and more like the rest of the country, especially the South. Even so, more than 180,000 foreign-born immigrants arrived during this same period. These newcomers changed the nature of the place, too. In 1880, Texas was 91% rural. 20 years later, city living had increased, with only 83% living rural lives. People were coming to Texas, and many were moving to town. East Texas, the Blackland Prairie, and the coastal bend were especially booming. Economic realities continued shaping Texas. National trends caused many families to lose their small farms, and wealthier landowners gobbled up the bargains. Their poorer neighbors, burdened by debts, lost their farms and worked other people's acreage. Tenant farming increased from just 38% of all those working the land in 1880 to 50% by 1900. Some of these displaced people quit farming altogether and moved to town to take jobs in the emerging industries. As a result, cities blossomed. San Antonio passed Galveston to become the largest city in the state, with a population of 53,300 people by the end of the century. Houston came in second with 45,000 folks, while Dallas was a close third with 43,000 inhabitants. Galveston, no longer as important as in the past, dropped to fourth with 38,000 residents. Fort Worth, with its railroads and meatpacking industry, became the 5th largest city in the state with 27,000 inhabitants. Even with cities growing, most Texans remained farmers. There were 175,000 farms in Texas in 1880, and twice that many just 20 years later. While cotton dominated, farmers also grew corn. Texans produced 30 million bushels in 1880, but boosted output to 110 million bushels in the next 2 decades. Much of this crop went to feed cattle. The number of animals nearly doubled, from 4.8 million to 8.5 million head by the end of the century. There were other changes too. Texas women made their voices heard. Politicians had already considered extending the right to vote to women shortly after the Civil War, mostly because Texas ladies could claim, irrefutably, that they had never been Confederate soldiers or officials. This attempt failed. But the idea of women voting, women's suffrage, gathered momentum. It even came up in discussions during the creation of the Constitution of 1876. It wasn't just politics, though. Women also supported some of the social reform movements afoot, especially temperance. Organizations like the Women's Christian Temperance Movement were determined to see alcohol production, sales, and consumption made illegal, and pushed that position into the political conversations across the state. Temperance grew to become the test that proved just how conservative a candidate might be, like certain social issues in today's politics. By 1900, hundreds of thousands of new voices joined the Texas story.